Natale Caruso, born in Licodia Eubea, Italy, immigrated to the United States at the age of 20. He attended his first studies in Australia to conclude his graduation at the Brooklyn and Hunter colleges in New York City. At the end of 2021, he published, in collaboration with Eurobox, his novel entitled Beyond the Southern Border. And we're happy to have him here today, connected with us, to talk about his new publication. Hi, Natale. It's a pleasure to meet you and have you here.
Oh, hi. It's a real pleasure to meet you and to see you live, after we have spoken a few times before.
Please tell us something about your novel. What is Beyond the Southern Border about?
Well, Beyond the Southern Border is a fictional fiction about Sam and Millie, two Black Americans who escape racism in the South. And in order to do that, they go through various stages. But they discover afterwards, after leaving the South, that racism is also somewhat in the North, and especially in the northern ghettos of America, where they eventually wind up. If I may, at this point, I would like to read a paragraph from one of the chapters in the book.
Sure, please, go on.
And so this is to describe the environment where they wound up after leaving the South. And as old Sam went along his troubled path of life, he stared down the corner of Sioux Street, where young lives had been struck down by the bullets of law and order, where they had been snuffed out by gangs and where they were ditched by drugs, where vagrant burnt by alcohol fell in the oblivion of mind and body, where rats chased the fattest cats in and out of homes without doors nor windows, and where the rest were insignificant static molecules that wandered in the torpor of the air as in the hot, muggy August afternoon in the South. Therefore, this is to tell that, yes, they escaped rampant racism and oppression in the South, but they found other inequities and hard life in the North.
I'm very curious, when and why did you feel this urge to write down this novel? See, it feels like a very important theme or a very important reflection you're trying to generate in your reader.
Well, I say that it may have started all when I lived in Italy. At the time that Martin Luther King was assassinated. But that stayed in the back of my mind till I came to the United States, and I saw what some people were saying about America, and especially about racism and the difference inequalities between whites and blacks. So that is how I started. But then I started teaching, and I began seeing the same situation among students and children of Afro-American background always were in conflict with white children. And there is where some of my ideas, and I started researching why and how this came about, even though after 100 years or more of the ending of slavery.
And was it challenging to write this book? What was the greatest difficulty while writing?
It was a challenge. It was something that I wanted to do, to express in my own way the way Americans saw each other from different cultures and different realities. It didn't take long to write the book itself, but it took a lot of thinking previous to that. It was all dormant within me. And after some 20 years or 30 years, actually, that I was in the United States, it just, one afternoon, I sat down and I started writing, and there it came. After 6 months, it was done. And I would like to also point out that in America, even today, there are situations that reflect the inequalities and the injustices of America. And like, for example, it's embedded in the institutions, the way I see it, like the Supreme Court. Like today in the Supreme Court, the polarization of the Supreme Court. And to that effect, I may read another paragraph, which is said by what Solomon says about the judicial system in America. Solomon is an activist in the South in the book, and he says, "We cannot allow the Supreme Court start with Southern judges who continue the affirmation that Negroes are not and can never be citizens of the United States. And we cannot allow the Supreme Court to declare, as it did in the Dred Scott versus Sanford in 1857, that the Constitution of the United States was not meant to include American citizenship for Black people, regardless of whatever they were, whether they were enslaved or free men." And just a couple days ago, the minority leader at the Senate said something that struck me again as proof in the institutions of inequalities. He said, "African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans." And he said this in his opposition to the voting bills that is up in the Senate, which in my view is another way of saying again that Afro-Americans are not American citizens.
Thank you very much for this message of justice you want to share with your book. Before leaving, we want to wish you very good luck with the book on the market. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, everyone, and especially you for giving me the opportunity to tell or talk about my book. And thank you for the good wishes.
This is the story of miscegenation. This is the story of Wilma and Jacob. This is the story of Sam. This is the story of many others, of each of us. This is the story of submission, awareness, identity. Beyond the Southern Border by Natale Caruso is now available in bookstores and digital platform. It's a publication by Europe Books.